I want carnage. Give me carnage.
Have you considered polyamory?
Hi, I'm Pao,
And I'm Simi, and this is seapopcast,
a Southeast Asian pop culture podcast.
where we talk about all things pop culture from this corner of the world.
So today, what are we talking about? Virtually.
Onlyfriends.
Yes. So this is a bit different from what we usually do because normally we do it in person, but surprise, surprise, the universe gave me a special present, which is COVID.
This is really 2020 flashbacks.
This is how it would have been if we started this 3 years ago, essentially.
Yeah, this is the universe giving us a glimpse into what it would have been like if we were friends back then.
Mm-hmm. So we just finished OnlyFriends, as in like just yesterday. We both watched it as it premiered.
We've been waiting to talk about this show. Week, we're like, okay, can't wait till we talk about this, can't wait till we do this episode, and now the day's finally here, which is kind of bittersweet because it's an end of an era.
It is. Did we ever like talk about something that we both watched simultaneously? I don't think so. This is the first time.
No.
Yeah.
This is the first time, because with Be My Favorite, we were watching it at different points. So yeah.
This is the first time that we actually watched and talked about it. I think so.
And that shows you how special this show is.
Yes, because I've been waiting for this actually since the GMM 2023 Diversely Yours showcase. This, along with Last Twilight and then Cherry Magic Thailand, these were my top 3 of the 2023 announcements. So I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah, I remember you sending me the trailer, and our conclusion was, do these boys know what polyamory is?
And do they need it?
Yeah, probably. And now that the show is over, I would say for certain characters,
one of them,
you know what polyamory is?
Yes. I was super excited about the show, which is weird because it's not up my alley normally. So you know how normally I like very cute or very like emotional shows. This one was
it's not.
For some reason, when I watched the concept trailer, I was like, I need to watch this.
Yeah.
I want carnage. Give me carnage. And that's what we got, essentially.
Yeah.
Because
we really did get
there
that.
was so much that I thought was already displayed in both the concept trailer and the official trailer that I was like, how are they gonna expand on this? They're basically gonna give us what the trailer did, but like in a longer story format. But no, that trailer covered like 25% of the actual show.
No, there was a lot that I don't think we were really expecting.
Not a lot, no.
Yeah.
Because in the official trailer, we know that Top or Force gets with Mew or Book. Top cheats on Mew with Boston. So we knew that, and we knew that their friendship was going to get ruined because of that. But I did not expect everything else that happened like in the actual show.
No, I think we have quite different like tastes in shows. This one I think is a bit more in line with what I would be more used to watching, and
Elite,
I was
Kin Porsche.
Yes, exactly. And I was also kind of like, what struck me was how similar this series feels to like the GMM shows from back in the day. You know, like you think of like 3 Will Be Free sort of vibes.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, and like a lot of the older, I guess, anthology series that used to come out of Thailand, like those Bangkok Traffic Love Story, Hormones, those type of shows. And we don't really get very many of those now, so
Agreed.
yeah.
I think the industry started moving towards more romantic series, especially with like the advent of like Together. Everyone was like, let's do cute stuff, and then they kind of forgot the whole like, ooh, spicy, which they finally gave it.
We had a lot of in this.
We gave up. Which another thing that really surprised me. How is this show? Did you catch that this was a 13+ show only?
No, I didn't. It's a 13+ show.
Yeah. Because I can read Thai numbers, and then I was expecting it to go like Sip Bet, which means 18. But then they were like, Sip Sam, which means 13+. And I was like,
13.
So if you're 13, you it's safe to watch this show.
I mean, that's for Asia. That's pretty shocking.
It's very shocking. I would expect
Yeah.
maybe in like Europe, this would be a 13 plus show, but not in Asia.
Yeah, I would think maybe 15, 16, you know?
Yeah. No, but
it is on YouTube.
yes. But 3OB Free has a 18 plus warning, so your account at least needs to be 18 plus. Like you have to declare it on your Google account. This one doesn't.
They're more progressive now. They're like, the kids are watching this.
Teach kids sex and drugs.
Yeah.
I actually asked my Thai friends about this. They were like, this is not normal for Thai TV to be this risque.
Oh.
At least for
Interesting.
13 plus. Usually they'll put like a 18, 19 plus rating for these kind of shows.
Do you want to give a synopsis of what the show is about?
Sure. Okay, so as I've said, we were talking about OnlyFriends. So it's a new Thai series that just ended actually. So it's by gmmtv, directed by the Jojo Tichakon, who also did 3OB Free, Mama Gogo, I think PS I Hate You, and he does a lot of these like very risque shows for GMMTV. I've realized. It premiered on GMM25, which is the Thai channel, and they premiered on YouTube right after. It aired every Saturday from August 12th to yesterday, October 28th. Yeah, the synopsis is Mew, Ray, Boston, and Amshin, a group of business students running a hostel together, blur the lines between friendship and romance. Mew has been focusing on his studies, setting aside no time for sex and relationships. To help him with their business design, Boston introduces to the group Top. Boston didn't anticipate Top's interest in Mew, and he isn't happy with the turn of events. Economics student Sam wants an exclusive relationship with Ray, but Ray has feelings for Mew, and he's not interested in settling. IT guy Nick finds a sex tape of Boston's... IT guy Nick finds a sex tape in Boston's phone and ends up in a friends with benefits relationship with him. However, Nick wants something more. Wow, that was a lot for a synopsis.
Yeah, I think that's very reflective of how the series is.
It's one of those like shows where you need like a web of like who's related to who's banging who's friends with who, and
who slept with whose sibling.
Yeah. Oh no.
There's also that.
There's that. Of course, there's cheating.
Of course.
We were expecting that already.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the poster and you're like, yeah, somebody's gonna cheat on somebody.
So I guess we should just first talk about the main friendship.
The friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's Mew, Ray, Boston, and Namshim. I can't pronounce her name properly. So what did you think about them?
This is a very stressful friend group to be a part of.
It is.
I look at them and
I never pegged them as... I would never actually peg them as friends to begin with, actually.
Yeah, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more exploration into how they became friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because other than like exes or potential love interests, we don't... And some parents, we don't actually see anyone's friends.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's just them.
Like nobody seems to have like any friends outside of this friend group or the characters in the series, and I just want to know like how did they become so close?
Maybe because there's so much going on and it's only 12 episodes. There's too much exposition already. My initial thought was I would never peg them as friends, but then I guess who are we to judge in a sense? So I kind of just took it as it is.
Yeah. I think if I was part of this friend group, I would just live vicariously through all of them because...
That's true. I would be Mew.
I mean, you have a friend like Boston, you'd be like, I just want to hear your stories all day, you know?
Oh my god, Boston. Yeah, so that's what I kind of had like with the friend groups. I would never see them together as friends, but then I also just like took it as it was because I was like, get to the plot already.
Yeah.
I found their dynamic interesting in the sense that like one of them seems to be like the glue, which I think was Mew, because other than that, Boston and Ray don't seem to necessarily like each other.
Yeah.
And Shim kind of likes all of them, but she's really close to Mew the most, I think.
Yeah. I definitely saw that.
But then I'm also here thinking Mew was, at the beginning at least, was one of the least interesting characters. So I don't know why he was like that premium friend that everyone wanted.
Maybe it's that. Like, maybe it's just because he's not messy.
Maybe.
And he just doesn't seem to be very complicated. And I mean, admittedly, I wasn't a huge fan of Mew at first because I found him quite one-dimensional. But as the series went on, I think he became slightly more interesting.
But then he only became interesting because of the
Once
series
he
of
lost
events.
the glasses, which we're still doing in 2023.
He reads books because he wears glasses. How many books do you read?
That was his 0.
Really?
I
But
can't
from the
believe that
looks
was
of
how
it,
he introduced
I
himself
know.
to Top.
I
It's
read
like,
books
oh, what
because
are
I
your
wear
interests?
glasses.
Oh, I mean, can't you tell?
Oh, cheesy writing. But I mean, I guess that was like the least of our worries.
Yeah.
I found Shim like a weird friend. She had really bad intuition with like Top, and she had really bad like advice for Mew as a friend. I feel she just kept pushing Top towards him, and she was like looking like, "You go after him," and I'm like, you don't know this person. Why are you pushing your friend towards him?
But it's also very, I feel, it's very typical uni friend.
Oh, it's very typical uni friend.
Who's like, oh my god, you haven't like done this? Come, let's, this guy's interested in you, just, you know? That was quite an realistic thing. My problem with her was that I just didn't feel like we got a lot of insight into her character. Because she has a girlfriend, and we do see them together from time to time.
And again, the lesbians get like 0 screen time. Oh no, they get like fake screen time. They're just there.
They get fake screen time, even though amongst everybody in this series, they're the ones with the best relationship.
Yeah, their only problem is that one of them doesn't tell tells white lies. So
Yeah.
Wow.
But then they resolve their conflicts so easily. They're both really encouraging and supportive towards each other. And I'm just like, I think everybody else in the show needs to watch them more closely.
Yeah, but no.
That's what a healthy relationship is. That's what communicating is.
Exactly, but then Shums ends up being like a catalyst for a lot of like series of events. Essentially, she's the one like pushing Mew to go for Top. She's the one who tells Top to like she forgave Top so easily and was like, you know what, you should save Mew from Ray. And I was like, okay. Anyway.
So speaking of Mew.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on Top and Mew, who I would say arguably are like the main characters in the series?
They felt like the main couple, and then the other two were like side couples, I feel. So Top and Mew, I don't know if it's because of the bias of us knowing who will end up with who because we know who the pairings are already, that I just was like, you know what, you two just deserve each other. Just like get together already. And also because I do like Forcebook as an outside pairing, but I tried not to bring their like outside like celebrity personality into this because they're supposed to be actors, right? But I did enjoy them just because sometimes Forcebook can be kind of like they can be kind of cute. Initially thought though that they're gonna go the route of like Mew being like not that innocent in the beginning, and that it's all an act. It's all a guise. Because I saw a lot of like fan sites talk about that, like Mew sus.
I didn't necessarily. I just felt like he had it in him to be a bit bitchier than he appeared to be. But maybe that was also me hoping for more because, like I said, I did find him quite boring.
He was one-dimensional in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, and their relationship in the first few episodes, I was like, okay, I really don't care because it just. A part of it did feel like I was watching a boss and a babe all over again, you know. So then I was like, okay,
Forcebook being cute,
we've
just
already
Forcebook being
seen
cute.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I one of my favorite moments was when he revealed Top, like the Top cheated on him. Because remember, like he fake seduced him. He was like, oh, he was like, let's do it. And then he was like, I love the sounds you make in bed. And then Top's like, what sounds? And he plays like the phone recording. And
Yeah.
it was like,
That was very dramatic. He just like whips his phone out and is like,
yeah. But that was one of the top moments for me. I was like, wow, this is what I was looking for.
yeah. I was like, oh, okay, he's doing this. Okay, great.
Yes,
like,
yes.
He's bringing something to the story, you know.
Exactly.
Also, this is not a real spoiler because him cheating on him is in the trailer.
Yes.
Yeah. I also felt like Top didn't really have very much of a character beyond being interested in Mew.
That's true. He also did not have a good exposition of...
Yeah, which is why I think I found it quite difficult to like him as a character. Just because, okay, you're rich, you have an ex that shows up at some point.
Yes.
Sand hates you, and you're really, really interested in Mew. But you also cheated on him with Boston, and that's it. Like, that's all I know about him. And then once he's guilty, he just starts like, you know, with his pining and trying to make it up to Mew. But that's it. There's nothing else.
So he's just essentially, he's just a rich privileged boy who, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I felt like we didn't really understand him. There was no personality.
He's also like the only one who doesn't have a parent that we've seen, right?
What do you mean?
He's the only character that didn't have a parent actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
budget.
gmmtv broke. Because
That
Sand...
was only enough for 4 parents.
No, 5. So Nick had a dad. Ray,
Yes, Nick
Sand
had a dad.
for like one scene, and then Sand had his mom.
His mom.
Ray had his dad. Mew had his 2 moms. And Boston had his dad.
Oh yeah, and Sand has an estranged dad.
Oh yeah, so see,
So it really is just.
it's just
Yeah.
Top. So we really just don't know much
Yeah.
about Top. Interesting.
We really don't, and like given that again, I like definitely feel like they were the main couple.
It would
I
be nice
just-
to have some more exposition. He mentions that
Yeah,
he
like,
can't
I wish
sleep
I knew
alone,
more.
right, because of a fire, as a kid or something like that.
Yeah,
And then I don't remember. I just know that
but
he
that
can't
was
sleep
only
alone.
thrown in like
Yeah, it wasn't like a
I
main
don't know.
plot line. So I agree. Top was he's just there to be Mew's lover, essentially.
Yeah.
And like the instigator for the whole main plot of the series. I guess the cheating is like the main rising action of the whole series.
And speaking of the cheating, what were your thoughts on Top and Boston? Messy. That's all. Messy.
Very messy. Also very like weirdly morally gray, for me at least. Not morally, because I found it weird because I think for me it happened really early in this. I was expecting it to be in like episode 6. It happened in episode 3, so I was like, oh. And then at that point they were dating, but they weren't official yet. So then there was no clear like talk of what their relationship was. So then Boston's a dick friend for going after the person that your friend's dating, but they weren't official. So then I don't know. For me, it was like it happened too fast. I was like, I can't tell if this is like wrong in a way. You know what I mean? Because no official relationship was established at that point in time. If you know what I mean.
Interesting perspective.
No, because Mew kept doing the thing where he was just like, we're not boyfriends yet. You have to win my heart, blah, 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 blah. So then he didn't establish the relationship. Obviously, dick move as a friend, and morally wrong as a friend, but in like... I don't know.
For me, I think what the problem was how relentless Boston was about it.
Okay, yeah.
Because
That's
it's
true,
not
true.
like it just like happened this one time and then, you know, which
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
again is still wrong, but it would be less of an issue. But he kept going after Top.
Yes, and then Top was just like he was too weak to say no, which is like
Yeah,
also
he's
wrong.
like no was like a no, and then
Yeah, like no, not really.
that's it. Yeah.
This is one of those instances where I guess no doesn't necessarily mean no. Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
yes.
But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's why it happened too early in the season, and then when it happened, I was like, oh, but they're not a thing yet. I thought they would be like, I thought it would happen when they were like more established, and then they've been together for a couple months already, and then he cheats.
Mhm.
This one happened like 2 weeks into dating.
But they kind of made sense as a pairing for me. As in, not a pairing, but I see what Boston would see in Top.
I
And
mean,
I see what Top would see in Boston.
so I remember I mentioned to you that I don't hate Top and Boston as much as like the rest of the fandom does. There's so much like I weirdly just did not hate Top as a character as much. A lot of people hate him.
Okay.
When he was like trying to be genuine, I was falling for his sincerity.
You're just like Mew.
Oh no. But I don't know if it's because
Are you gonna get LASIK?
just because Force asked me to. It's just because like I'm a Force fan. Like if it was anyone else, I would not like Top. Or do I just give people the benefit of the doubt too much? That I'm like, okay, I think Top is genuine in his like in his apology.
I think that very much fits in with the kind of shows that tend to appeal to you.
That's true.
Because in general, they're not as messy, and you don't really have a character that appears genuine, and then suddenly it's like, psych, actually, I'm malicious and I'm the villain, you know?
That's true.
Yeah. Whereas I think I'm a
watch
bit more
more-
suspicious of them. Yeah.
Because you've witnessed a lot more like basically just like people with ill intent. Because the show is just so
remember
messy.
Bible in Kin Bosch?
And yet everyone falls for him. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's fair that you would find Top's sincerity believable. Like I see that. I think I just found him boring. Especially when there were other characters like Boston who
Boston
brought
was-
so much to the story and to the show. I think Boston was fun, and
He was so fun.
he added so much to the series. I think Neo did a great job. He's like almost a bit too comfortable playing Boston, which kind of makes me wonder, what are you like in real life? you know?
Exactly.
But it seemed like he was having a lot of fun with the role, which is
He
nice.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we saw him in for Fish Upon the Sky as Jin,
Yes.
and we saw him in The Eclipse as Fred's character name. But both characters were different from Boston, and he played all three roles like pretty well. So I think Neo's one of like the best actors in gmmtv, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Yeah, I loved how he was the "I am who I am, don't try to change me" trope of a fuckboy. He was just like,
Yeah.
can't tie me down.
Have you considered polyamory?
Yeah.
Every couple of episodes, I would look at him and I'd be like, hey, maybe this is something you could explore.
It's not even just polyamory. I think he can't even like love. He just loves himself.
Yeah.
Loves himself.
That's true. I think with Boston, it's like, I felt like his character was just like he was just personifying what happens when you basically don't have any self-control
Yeah.
and you don't seem to have boundaries.
And also he doesn't face his consequences. He just kind of like takes them as non-serious.
Exactly. He's just like, oh, I am who I am, and it's like, yeah, but actions do have consequences, right?
And also like so if you want to have friends still, you have to be nice to them.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think, like, I don't really think he necessarily felt the true brevity of what he did by stringing Nick along for as long as he did.
He did.
Right? And seems to be, the story seems to be going on for spanning quite a substantial period of time.
That's true.
And you were like, he kept saying like, oh, maybe I'll see you as more, maybe I'll like our relationship can go to the next level, and it's like, come on, you were never going to do that. Yeah. And I think I would have respected Boston a lot more if he had just been like, look, I'm not going to get into a relationship with you. If you develop feelings for me, that's on you. We are simply friends with benefits.
He only started to string along Nick more seriously because he lost all his friends.
Yeah.
So he had to face the action of his consequences for the first time in his life, and then he ended up.
But then he also kind of still messed up.
Yeah. So then it's like,
Yeah.
this is why Boston's so interesting as a character.
Yeah, no, he really was. I totally agree. I think
Yeah.
after Sand, he's definitely probably my favorite character.
Oh, I wanted to know about his his love of photography and stuff like that. I feel like that
Which
was
they just kept saying that he was into.
he was a good
but-
photographer, but then I wanted to know how he got into it. Maybe like how it plays into like his broken family relationships.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like maybe it's his like escapism from his shitty life. We need more. I think this is one of those series that needs more than 12 episodes just to flesh out, because we had so many characters and so many cameos. Like, do you remember
Yes.
Jure?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I think we said this before.
Yeah.
But like Drake,
Some-
absolutely, like this man has to have it in his contract that he's just gonna.
I'll
show
be
up.
in every show at least once.
Yeah. He showed up in like what, the first episode?
Yeah, he just did. And I thought that was the only episode. And he appeared in more, where Mew seduced Drake's character to get the secret recordings.
Oh yes. I forgot. Their world is very small.
It is.
I think the thing about Boston is that for a large part of the series, I'm a big sucker for a good fuckboy redemption arc. I really am. And I think I was just waiting for Boston to realize, like, come on. Like, but...
But again, they didn't take the idealistic route, and they kind of were just like, you know what? Some people just don't change, and that's who he is, I guess. So then they kind of left it as him being him. Like, he can't be tied down.
And he's messy.
He is messy, and he acknowledges it, I think. He even tells people, like, you shouldn't be with me because I am who I am, and I'm just gonna hurt you. Makes sense.
And then he tries to be somebody else and is told that he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, going back to just, like, Top and Mew a bit, because he forgave Top quite easily, because he still had feelings for him. And but he couldn't forgive, like, Boston. I want to know, like, how long that relationship is actually going to last, because I feel like he can't forget, right? How long would that actually last before Mew is just, like actually can't... He'll just keep bringing back that fact that he cheated on him. Like, he even said, like, I might bring this up to hurt you in the future if you mess up.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, compared to a lot of other shows, I didn't necessarily end the show thinking, okay, yeah, Mew and Top are gonna be together forever.
Yeah.
There are other relationships in this series that I did feel that way about, where I'm like, yeah, you guys are gonna stay together forever, and if you don't, like...
I'm gonna cry.
But... yeah, but this is not one of them. And I think... I don't know. They just...
Well, I mean, I think that's the point, right? It's just supposed to be, like, an ambiguous... Like, they gave us just, like, a nice... soft thing to land on. And then they ended it there.
Yeah, and they're in uni. So their characters are supposed to be younger than, like, you and I.
Oh my god, yeah. And there was so much already happening in their life.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now to the main point of my, like, at least my favorite, Boston and Nick. I keep telling you about this. I don't know if it's just because I have a soft spot for Mark and Neo, or I just really, really enjoyed Boston and Nick's dynamic because it was the most, like, painful and, like, yearning one. I think it's because I also kind of empathize with Nick the most as a character. He has this kind of, like, self-deprecating crush for Boston. And then he even has that, like, oh my god, wow, the popular guy chose me. I think I can fix him kind of thing. And I there's just something about that loser, like, that loser attitude I associate with the most.
I think without too much exposition, I felt like Nick was a character that we did learn quite a lot
We did. He was just introduced as, like, a guy who fixes phone.
Yeah, but he becomes somebody that's quite easy to root for, you sympathize with,
He's so
with.
genuine, and you know he doesn't really have anything malicious behind him. Anything wrong that he does is really just because of his insecurities that he can never get with Boston.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's just a really genuine, nice guy.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's like, you look at him and you're like, can't you see it? Because there is another guy
Yeah.
that's interested in him at some point in
But
the
then,
series.
yes, but then the fans kept saying that right guy, wrong time. Nick is not over Boston yet, so he can't.
He should appear after New Year's.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just.
So yeah, I guess the way the relationship panned out was the one that moved me the most, because I was rooting for Nick, but then I was like,
Yeah.
I know how much like Boston, but then it's not gonna work out. But it's just still adorable. Like you know the part where they got together, finally, where like Nick was like, "I also do miss you." That made me go like, "Oh, that's so cute."
Yeah, no, the whole time I just wanted Nick to realize, like, you deserve better.
He does deserve better. He does deserve better.
You're not as bad as you clearly have a warped image of yourself in your head, and that's why you're putting up with all of this. But maybe that's why he's quite relatable. I feel like a lot of people see
that's
themselves,
true. That's very true.
Like you know.
Yeah. Oh, and then I also thought Nick, we know, deserves better. But Boston will always be his what if love. Like the one that got away, the one that it's gonna last. It's gonna linger until his like adulthood, and he'll always keep thinking about it, and it's just gonna hurt. It's like he's gonna one day remember it and be like, oh, what if?
Yeah, and I also think at some level, like, I don't think it would be as strong, but I do think Boston has that a bit, because I definitely think he liked Nick, and there was obviously a connection between their characters.
Of course,
but they
yeah.
weren't. Yeah.
So Boston is capable of. He's a human. He's capable of like loving someone else, but he just was not ready to change his whole lifestyle just for one guy. So I think the relationship is like another. It's a good trope of like right people, wrong stages in life.
Yeah.
So like maybe again in like maybe 10 years if they meet and Boston's done being a hoe, maybe. But
OnlyFriends reunion 2033. We've planned it.
GMM, make it now.
Yeah, just make it happen. Bring them. Also, I was very interested for Boston and Nick, because I remember seeing on TikTok there was a lot of I remember seeing so many videos and comments about people who were like, "Oh, I don't want to see Mark and Neo together."
Oh no!
Or like, why would they put them together? But then actually,
it was so interesting.
They were really good together.
Yeah. I liked it. I personally was like, I think Neo and Mark should not be two actors that are tied down with one pairing.
No. But I think it worked in this show, and I think all of those people that were, questioning the casting choice, you've been proven wrong.
Because it worked. So Mew and Ray.
Another complex dynamic in the friend group.
Okay, I think it's because we knew that it's First and Khao, and that's Force and Books. We know that they're never going to put Book and Khao together. But
yeah,
their dynamic was so interesting. I think they are just like, their pairing was to make them realize that they like other people, especially Ray.
I guess, yeah, but there were also certain things about them that I found made them quite a believable duo, I want to say. I'm not gonna say couple, duo.
Yeah.
Just because I think, I don't know, I think it's quite realistic that somebody in this friend group would have like unrequited feelings for somebody else, and then when that somebody else is going through some relationship troubles, they latch onto this person to give that person the hopes like, oh my gosh, maybe he will be interested in me, but actually he's just making use of the fact that he's interested in him.
Exactly.
So he gets the approval and the attention and the affection, but actually he would never get into an actual relationship with Ray.
That's true. And also, it's obvious to me that Ray only liked Mew. He confused companionship and like good friendship with love, because Mew was just the only person there at that one specific point in time when he was like the lowest point of his life, and Mew was the one friend that was there for him. And I was like, you love Mew, but not in that way. You can love him as a friend, which he realizes like 10 episodes too late. But
Yeah, and unlike Be My Favorite, in this particular duo, the consent was not not fully respected.
No. And also, Ray is a very interesting character in which he made me weirdly the most frustrated as a viewer.
Same.
Because he had this like era of like he is a genuine person. He's really nice. He just has this like weird warped view of how he thinks the world should be, in which and then he kind of like imposes it on everyone else. And I was like, oh my god, stop assuming. And he was very entitled in what he did or did not want to do.
A very rich boy.
Very rich boy.
Yeah, he was very rich boy.
Yeah.
He reminded me of a lot of characters in Elite.
Oh yeah. Like is he like Guzman or something?
Yeah. Oh my god, he is like Guzman. That's why I liked him.
I forgot to mention in like the beginning that this show we thought was gonna be like an Elite or a Pretty Little Liars. It ended up becoming a Mean Girls.
Yeah, but there's no murder.
It ended up becoming Mean Girls because the innocent virgin girl ends up good girl gone bad because of
just like Katie in
Katie in Mean Girls. Oh, I thought something was interesting. I think Top was right in which Ray was just as wrong as he did because he made out with Sand when he was dating Mew. They were a thing, and he kept pursuing Sand. I was like,
I didn't necessarily agree with that, but it's still a dick move. Yeah,
it was a dick move.
Yeah,
it wasn't like to the same level of cheating, but
yeah,
he clearly had feelings for someone else.
Basically, nobody in this series is like 100% innocent. Some of them are worse than others, but yeah, everybody messes up at some point.
Which is very relatable, actually, about the show. There's no good person, bad person. Everything was morally gray. And then also the Mew-Ray relationship, like they didn't work. They brought the worst in each other, which I was like, oh, because like Mew, he did the good girl gone bad thing because of Ray.
Yeah.
Like as in like he started doing drugs, started like smoking and all that stuff. But we learned it was only a ruse to get Top jealous, and I'm like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, and also I don't fully understand Mew's transformation. Like I don't understand the sudden like silver chain and Hawaiian shirts, and then he never really truly goes back to how he was.
Oh yeah, he should have. Well, he can't because he got LASIK. So he can't wear glasses.
Yeah, he got LASIK
he got LASIK for a boy. It's so sad.
It's so ugly duckling, right? So it's so GMM actually.
It's very GMM. But actually, I kind of read it as just like, you know what? You have a rich boyfriend. Use him utilitarian. Like, use his money
that's
for
that's
procedures.
Exactly how Top and Ray just kept like positioning themselves. It's like, you want this? I can get this for you.
Yes.
Should I buy you a building?
Entitled rich boys. Okay, I mean, I guess yeah. They're two friends who clearly didn't know where they felt about each other until they had to go through like all these trauma. Done. They're just good friends now. Now, your favorites, Sand and Ray.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I love Sand. He was my favorite character from the first episode all the way to the end. Like, he could do no wrong. I rooted for him in every situation. He's the best. He deserves to be happy. And every time Ray made him upset, I felt that so deeply. He would be happy for like 5 minutes and then he'd be unhappy for the rest of the episode.
Exactly. I think that's why I also got annoyed with like Ray for a large portion of the shows, because like, just get with Sand already.
Come on, Sand makes you happy. Why are you making him unhappy?
Stop telling yourself you're in love with Mew. You really like Sand. Yeah. So First and Khao, we know, are like the best actors, like by far. They're the best actors.
I mean, like, no offense to the others.
The rest of the cast.
But really, I wouldn't even just say the rest of the cast. Like, especially First, I think is
he can act with his
the
eyes.
Best. Yes, really and it worked so well for this.
These two could cry on cue, so well, and there's a lot of crying.
There is a very emotional part of their storyline at some point.
I
I
like-
felt like Khaotung's
I like-
acting
yeah.
skills really came out there.
I liked how deep their relationship got. They're the ones who got the most like real and raw. I'd say the other two had like petty problems compared to these two.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really hope I see First in more things. Like the way his expressions shift ever so subtly is like there's this one like scene I can like it's like stuck in my head where like Ray and Sand are hooking up in the car, whatever, and then Ray gets a call from Mew,
Yeah.
and like the way Sand's face just shifts
like,
from
ugh.
like, oh, it's a momentary pause and I'll hook up to like actual like disappointment, like, oh, he's leaving me to go after like
this friend.
this other guy, his friend that he's obviously interested in. I was like, oh. And he portrayed that beautifully.
Well, I mean, we love First Khao like just the chemistry, their everything. There was this time in like the second to last or the last episode where I think I was lying to myself that I liked First's character Sand the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I thought he was the most morally grounded character. He was the least wavering, and so that made him like the perfect character essentially to root for.
He was also so cool.
He was too cool for me. So like he was so cool to the point that I was like, I don't relate to any of this, but you do you. You know what I mean? I thought he was such a cool character, but I just couldn't like emotionally get to his level because I was like, he's so different from me in like so many ways.
Nick was your favorite character?
Yeah, Nick was my favorite character because he was. I felt his like self-deprecating like actions the most. Like, okay, I relate.
Yeah, no,
But
Sand was definitely.
Doesn't mean Sand. I think Sand was my second favorite character because he was.
Yeah.
He was the most idealistic, and I thought, like, not even like his like in his aesthetics, but also in like how he was the most like responsible. He'd always drive Khao, tell him stop drinking, told him to go to rehab. Like, I wish I was.
He did so much for Ray. Honestly. Like, so one part of Sand's life is that he, just in case you have not seen the show, is that he makes
plum wine.
Plum wine, right. And in the end, he's like, oh, you know, I don't want, like, I'm gonna stop doing this and I'm gonna stop working at the bar, which is where they met, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't want you to get back into drinking. And I was like, this is not... Okay, of course, like, they're great and whatever, but there were a lot of points where I felt like their relationship was not entirely equal.
Yeah, obviously.
Sand was just giving everything to
and
Ray,
was just
and
taking,
Ray's like, oh, but I'm still kind of into Mew.
Yeah, I think one thing that also frustrated me about their relationship the most is their relationship was the easiest to fix through communication, and it was just so much miscommunication. Just like, oh my god, talk, just talk. It's really just Ray. Ray frustrated me so much.
It really is just Ray, isn't it? Yeah, it's like every time I'm like, yeah, Sand is finally happy, and then like Ray would go and do something stupid, and I'm like, well, next episode.
Like the one where like he thinks his dad paid Sand to do everything for him. And it's like, no, he really cares.
Like, can't you
about
see
you.
how genuinely good Sand is and how much he likes you?
I know.
But the first few episodes when they were happier were so great. Like, Sand and Ray had great scenes.
Oh, yeah.
They really, really did.
Best chemistry. I was like, you don't like Mew.
Exactly. And I'm like, can't you see that? And you can obviously see, like, really obviously, especially with Sand, like, you can see Sand falling for Ray. They have so much rewatch value for me. Like, I can totally see myself a month from now going through all the episodes just to watch Sand and Ray.
Someone will make a Sand and Ray compilation, and you can watch that one instead of the official.
Yeah, sure. I'd be so down for that, because, yeah, I felt very, very, very deeply for them.
Well, moving on, I think what we can agree is the best friendship is not the main friend group, it's Sand and Nick.
Yes, so wholesome, loved it.
Best.
They deserved more screen time.
They did more screen time, and those two deserve happy endings. Everyone else could have like died. These two are the only ones who should like remain happy.
Yeah, they go on a camping trip at some point.
Yeah,
and
that was so awesome.
It was very cute, and I wish we had more,
They
scenes
should have
like
had
that.
like a longer camping trip. Also, their kiss, like they're like, let's hook up, and then they kiss, and then they like left immediately.
That felt very genuine.
It was so cute. It was so cute.
Yeah, it was very cute.
It was like one of those things where like I saw it and I was like,
I really did like them. It's the two that deserve better. The two that deserved less pain and agony and
they're
sadness.
and they're not part of the main friend group. So clearly, the moral of the story is don't be friends with them. Be friends with Sen Nick.
Correct. Gotta talk about Boeing.
Boeing. Okay. I again don't like drama unless it's advertised to me. And so like when I watched this show and I was like, yes, give me drama. I did not know that they were gonna give me Mond as a baby girl. Did you? I did not expect that.
He was so messy.
He was the best. I love Boeing.
I wish he was introduced earlier. I feel like he would have caused more chaos and it would have been so much more exciting. See, this is the thing, right, with GMM, is that they always randomly throw in an X
in the
way
10th
too late
episode.
in the series.
And
Yeah.
You're like, wait, no. Introduce them in episode 6 and then give us carnage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It would have made Top pining after Mew for such a long period of time more interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It would have added something to the mix.
Exactly, because once Top got like guilty and he had like a guilt trip session, Mew and Top became kind of like kind of boring. You'll end up together, we know it. But it would have been more interesting if like an X was like wedging himself in between them, which is what Boeing did. And so I love Boeing as a villain character, not as a protagonist or IRL. I would hate him as a person, but as a villain character. Oh, but as a villain character, oh, he's so good.
And the fact that he stopped at not one relationship but tried to ruin another one.
I love it, and I love.
And then indirectly, kind of almost ruined the third one as well.
Yes. We should have had him sooner, and I just love that it's Mon.
Yeah, no, he did a very good job, and he's very hot.
This is the first Mon is very hot. This is the first time we've seen Mon kiss a guy. I think he's always played straight characters, from what I know.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. So like when I saw it here, I was like, we're gonna see Mon kiss a guy. He kisses 5.
Boeing is. I mean, Boeing is such a messy character.
He's the Regina George. If Mew is the Katie Heron, Boeing's the Regina George of the series.
Boeing's the Regina George. I cannot get over the fact that like his, I guess not introduction, but when you find out about him is the fact that like there's an aeroplane in Top's room. Like they took the Boeing thing so seriously.
Too literally Boeing airplane.
Honestly,
which
I
first
could
of
not
all,
get over that.
It's actually not even a Boeing plane. I'm a plane nerd. That's a McDonnell Douglas plane. That's not a Boeing plane. Just for the record, it's not even a Boeing plane.
set decorator.
Yeah, they're like, give me any plane. Oh, that was so funny though. But
yeah, that's kind of like how they like a huge part of San's personality is that he's into English rock bands.
Yeah.
And just to really hammer home the fact that Arctic Monkeys is his favorite band, he's got like 5 Arctic Monkeys posters in his room.
Every discussion about like going on like a world tour in Europe to see concerts, Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, and I'm like, there are thousands of English rock bands. And he was always wearing t-shirts of other bands, but then you only heard about Arctic Monkeys even in the final episode.
That's so funny. I just want to say, like, last thing about like Boeing is the fact that I love his like expressions all the time. He was always kind of just like, but why not? And I was like, oh. Oh, and then did I send you that meme? The one where it's like, if I was Mew, fuck Top, go for this guy. He probably
you did, and
he's hotter. He's probably a good fuck and probably gives good head. I thought that was hilarious.
Honestly, it's probably true.
One person that nearly I didn't even think Boston deserved such a horrible like blackmailing was the fact that Shim's younger brother goes after Boston just to experiment with his sexuality. And then just because Boston didn't want to sleep with him again, he blackmails him and tells him he was like sexually assaulted by Boston.
Yeah,
Which is
like that was, and I don't think they fully addressed that. I feel like they
No.
just sort of went over it very quickly, even though like that's a very serious act. It's like you're
Yeah.
accusing somebody of a
Someone of sexual-
really, really heinous crime,
Yeah.
and they just sort of like, you know,
They basically like
oops, I was
Shim.
just confused.
And when he confessed, it was just revenge against Boston. She was just like, oh, okay, well then I'm glad you know you're gay.
Yeah, and
She-
I was just thinking like, okay, sleeping with your friend's boyfriend and like actually
Just-
like committing a crime and like assaulting somebody
Two
worlds apart.
yes,
One makes you like kind of an asshole, and one is like
a criminal.
being in prison.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I hate how they conflated the two just because of
I don't even think that storyline was necessary. I
Yeah.
don't think his character was needed, and honestly, it was. What did it add to the story?
final thoughts.
This is an end of an era.
It is.
It's
an end
been
of an
very
era.
long since I've been invested in a Thai series.
That is true.
I would say this is my equivalent of Kin Bosch in
Yes.
2023.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love the fact that they topped the trailer because, again, like I said, what I thought was we were just gonna get the same story in the trailer but expanded, but no, they really like gave us
Yeah.
all the twists and all the turns up until episode 12. I was like, I did not see any of this coming. I thought that the sex scenes were very tastefully done and peppered at appropriate times to further the storyline. Because I feel like there are times where like a lot of shows will just have NC scenes just for fan service, essentially, just to see like them interact in like a inappropriate way. But it doesn't make sense in like the rom-com that it was. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like Tarn Fight.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so like you said, it's like a rom-com, but then they had such weird sex scenes and so it just did not fit the tone of the overall show. This one it was, because we were advertised it as it is. They were like,
Yeah.
you're gonna get sex, and you're like, yes. And I thought that the amount, it wasn't too much, and it wasn't like
for
it wasn't
sure,
like Game of
yeah.
Thrones also, where everything was just bare and everything was just, you know.
Then it wouldn't be on YouTube.
No, yeah, no. This one was just like the amount of sex scenes and the way they portrayed it was like tastefully done. I liked it.
I do recommend this series for how fun it is, how messy it is, but you also get like some depth, especially with Sand and Ray. Like I had a lot of fun watching this series every week. So I watched it every week from the first episode all the way to
Till
the
yesterday.
final.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really kept my interest. It's been a long time since I've actually finished a show watching it week after week. I didn't do that for Be My Favorite. First is my favorite actor now.
Yes.
Like he's so good. Like
He's so
I was
good.
convinced of his acting in Moonlight Chicken, even though he was a secondary character, but
Yes.
this time was like top tier. He deserves more.
Top tier. Isn't that what they kept calling Top?
Oh my god, it is!
First of all,
Oh,
with a
man.
name like Top, how could you trust that person? I love the cameos. Drake was one of the best cameos. I did not see him
Yeah.
in episode 1.
I feel like now we have to anticipate that he's gonna show up when we watch a GMM series.
Yes.
Just be like, okay, we're just counting down till he shows up.
There should be a Drake GMM bingo, I think.
There should be. Oh my god.
Mon was not a cameo because he's an actual
No.
character, but 3 episodes and he caused so much like chaos. I loved it.
Yeah. And then the
Oh.
other guy that was interested in Nick.
Papang?
Was that his
Was that a
name?
cameo?
Okay.
Yeah, Papang. But it's not a cameo. It was an actual character.
But he also kind of disappeared without any explanation.
Yeah, he just disappeared because Nick was like, I'm not ready for a relationship. And then he was like, okay, done. No need for his character anymore.
I mean, that already made him better than Boston in a way.
Yeah. But the show's not about him, so...
And then there is a cameo in the final episode, but you gotta watch the show to see who
here's
it
a hint.
is.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, which if you watch the episode where you list your favorites, it's one of them.
One of those ones.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch the show. Maybe.
Yeah, just watch the show, exactly. And no one died.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, didn't you tell me that
Yes.
somebody was gonna die?
No, because gmmtv on Reddit was like out of nowhere. I think this is the official like channel, by the way, on Reddit. It was just like, who do you think is gonna die in OnlyFriends? And everyone's like, someone's gonna die?
Some intern's like, let's stir some shit.
Yeah. No one died.
Let's cause chaos.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to us talk about OnlyFriends. Yeah, this is probably one of the episodes we were most excited to make.
Definitely, because this is the first time we have a series that we watched simultaneously.
Yes.
Yes. COVID did not stop us.
COVID really didn't. No, we didn't let it get in the way.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like you said, like it's a show that we both watched kind of at the same time, and it's
We both were
not
excited
something
for
that
it.
you're typically into,
Yeah.
and it's more up my alley. But we were both very excited to watch it, and it's got actors that we really like in it. So yeah.
And it ended up beating expectations because the plot was so many left turns. I was like, this is so exciting.
If you can tell my enthusiasm in the Be My Favorite episode and my enthusiasm in this episode are completely different, because this one I'm like, oh, I loved this series. For all its flaws, I really had a great time.
I
doing
didn't
this.
really notice the flaws because everything else was so distracting.
I think it's only when the series ended that I had like the thought
Yeah,
came
yeah.
to me that I wish we knew more about certain characters.
While you're watching it, there's no time to do like all these like analyses. This one was just like, oh my god, what's happening?
It's true.
Yeah. So then only now are we able to like, okay,
True, because every week I was just telling you,
like, oh my god.
okay, so yeah.
Yeah. So that is our spiel on OnlyFriends, one of the best like
Yes.
gmmtv series ever. Thank you for giving us
favorite for
Carnage.
this year.
Yes. So nothing beats High School President for me, but this is one of my top ones for GMM 2023. Well, I was waiting for this one. Cannot wait for Last Twilight. Cannot wait for Cherry Magic. Oh, thank you. Are you gonna watch those two actually?
Yeah, I probably will. I will probably watch Cherry Magic because I did watch the original one.
Yes. Okay.
So we can talk about that.
Yes. We'll totally make an episode about it. Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah. So that's us talking about OnlyFriends.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And
Subscribe to our.
we'll see you in the next one where we'll hopefully be together.
Yes. Subscribe to our socials, to YouTube,
Yes.
Instagram, TikTok, all those things.
And go watch OnlyFriends.
Yes. Do that.
Bye!